Hello and welcome to the Hidalgo Show. This is your host, Rick the Hijo Binya, and today we're talking about Deuteronomy chapter 32. That's the subject of our House of Hidalgo show, and we're, let me tell you what's happening, okay? It's really an internal thing that the Lord's doing with me, and I'd like to share it with you so that you can walk this out with me. But there is quite clear in Scripture a cure. I don't want to call it a remedy, I'm calling it a cure. A cure for the disease that is walking without Yahuwah, Elohim. And that is all the things that we see going on in the world today is because he's turned his back on those who have turned their back on him. He acts in suit to that which you act out. So if you act out as a child of the Most High, if you follow the ways of the Lord, and assuming that you even know what those are, but if you follow the ways of the Lord, then He hears your prayer, and He will move mountains for you. But we haven't seen the Lord move mountains lately. We haven't heard stories of great and amazing things taking place outside of the what's commonplace in the world today, when we talk about churchisms. Okay, we do see healing, we do see people coming to the Lord, baptism, we see people restructuring their lives, we see a lot of that, but we haven't seen His people victorious over this world's false dominions and false narratives. We haven't seen that. And we can only hold that the reason why we haven't seen that is because we haven't been applying the Lord's words. We haven't been applying the ways of the Lord in our own lives. So it's caused me to go into a time of reflection with my own life and ask the questions, what does it take to be walking in the ways of the Lord? Now, that is a huge question, and it's going to be approached differently by everybody. There's no way to approach it that's specifically right. You have to go in with your a willingness to learn and to figure out what that means. Now, to some people, this means following the feast and a Levitical diet, and it means a lot of things. It means activating essentially the Torah, okay, in our daily lives, the way that He meant for His people Israel to do in the first days. Now, the world that we live in, there are people that will just knock that, and there are people that won't even consider it because we're in the gospel of Jesus Christ, and after the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus Christ, it's all done, it is finished. So let's not even look at that. Well, I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at everything because I don't want to leave anything uncrossed, anything undotted. I want every dot and tittle covered. I want to make sure that I'm participating on this side that's going to invoke the Lord to do great and mighty things. Why? Because I've grown tired. I've grown tired of watching the Lord's work suffer in this world. I've grown tired of watching people die. I've grown tired of being involved with other great, wonderful people who are suffering. I've grown tired of all that. I want to invoke the Lord to move on behalf of his people. Now, there's a lot of evidence scripturally that when 2 or 3 of the Lord's peculiar people come together, they can do some pretty amazing things. So it doesn't take many. It doesn't take many. But we have to get on the same page, and we have to start to explore things that maybe are uncomfortable for us to explore. And this is surely one of those things that's very uncomfortable to explore. To look inside and to ask the question, what is causing the desire of my heart? Given that it's not evil, of course, but the desire of my heart isn't being fulfilled, or the people around me, I see them suffer, and there's nothing that I can do, nothing that I can say, nothing that I can extend. Okay, these are real world problems, and all of us are having those kind of problems. We don't see the force and power of Yahuwah Elohim in the world that we live in today. We see pedophile everywhere. We see craziness everywhere. We see hate and the wrong kind of love everywhere. And we, as his people, who claim to be his people, need to get to a place where we can truly invoke the Lord to act on behalf of his people. A righteous act. Now, what that's going to take, in my opinion, is those of us who are interested in invoking the Lord to walk together in holiness and in his ways. But what are his ways? You see where I'm getting at? What are his ways? These are questions that we need to get settled. What are the ways of the Lord? Now, in Deuteronomy chapter 32, this is where we're at. Okay? This is where we're at. It says, "Give ear, O ye heavens." So, give an ear, listen, and I will speak. And hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. So here's the Lord, he's about to speak. "My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. Because I will publish the name of Yahuwah. Ascribe ye greatness unto our Elohim." So here's Moses talking about this word that he's getting from Elohim. He is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment. An El of truth. What is El? Well, we're talking about a God. The God. The God. The God of truth. And without iniquity. Just and right is he. They have corrupted themselves. You see, it's not God who's turned It's not Yahuwah Elohim who's turned his back on us. We have corrupted ourselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation. Why? Because we don't follow his ways. Do ye thus requite Yahuwah? O foolish people and unwise? Is not he your father that has brought you? Has he not made you and established you? He's talking to his people who he established as a nation that to this day still exists. I'm not talking about 1948 modern day, the state of Israel. I'm talking about his people. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask your father, and he will show you, your elders, and they will tell you. I'm not sure we have elders today that can tell us anything. What have they seen? We hear stories about great healings. We hear stories about great things that happened. Like stories of great salvation and things like that. But when's the last time that something that the Lord moved a nation for us? When's the last time that happened? Not sure we have elders that can tell us about that today. When El Elyon divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of men, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Israel ruled the world. All other nations were bound to what Israel was doing. Think about it. Where's that? Is the ecclesia there right now? No. It's the other guy who's there right now. Satan and his dominion over this fictional earth. For Yahuwah's portion is his people. Does he have a people? We have to truly ask this question. Yaakov, Jacob, is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land and in the waste, howling wilderness. He led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. As an eagle stirs up her nest, flutters over her young, spreads abroad her wings, takes them, bears them on her wings, so Yahuwah alone did lead him. And there was no strange God with him. No strange God with him. Do we carry around strange gods? I'm wondering. I'm asking that question seriously. He made him ride on the high places of the earth. Think about it. What he just said. He made him ride on the high places of the earth. Yeah, Jacob flew. Did you know that? That he might eat the increase of the fields, and he made him to suck honey out of the rock. Ever done that before? And oil out of the flinty rock. Butter of kine, and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs, and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat, and you did drink the pure blood of the grape, the pure grape. But Yasharon waxed fat. Now, he's kind of talking about us now. And kicked. You are waxen fat. You are grown thick. You are covered with fatness. In multiple ways, for me at least. Then he forsook Eloah, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his Yahusha. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils. Still happens today. Not to Eloah. By the way, a 501c3. Anyway, we won't go there right now. To gods whom they knew not. To new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Your fathers didn't fear them. Our fathers didn't fear those gods. Our fathers didn't fear those devils. They knew the Most High. What happened to that? Of the rock that begot you, you are unmindful. Unmindful. We are unmindful, he's talking about. And have forgotten El that formed you, your creator. You forgot him. And when Yahuwah saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith. Did you hear that? He is going to hide his face from us till we get our act together, till we decide to walk in his ways, and turn our way back to him. And then, you know what? Kind of reminds me, humble ourselves and pray. Turn from our wicked ways. And then he promises what? Yeah. I will heal their nation. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not El. They worship everything. They worship money. They worship the house they live in. They worship everything. They worship sports teams. And I'm guilty. You know? They worship all kinds of things. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. Vanities. And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. Now, did you hear that? I will move them to jealousy with those who are not a people? What? Wait, a nation of no people? Is he talking about a fiction? Isn't that what a nation of no people is? Do people belong to nations? Yeah. Can a person not belong to a nation? Well, technically, you know, your birthright follows you, and you will belong to a nation. But a fiction, those are a people of no nation. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. What is a foolish nation? A foolish nation is a fiction. It's a fictional nation. It's exactly what we live in today. For a fire is kindled in my anger. He is angry and shall burn onto the lowest Sheol. So what's he saying there? There's multiple Sheols. Dante's Inferno knew something. And shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spend my arrows upon them. He's going to spend it all upon us. He is going to heap it all upon us. They shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with burning heat, and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. The sword without, the terror within, shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. So every one shall be destroyed on account of the fact that we lost our first love, that we lost the ways of the Lord. I said, verse 26, I would rather scatter them into corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. He's going to make us to cease, the remembrance of those people to cease. Were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries would behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hand is high, and Yahuwah has done all this. Because we did it to ourselves. For they are a nation void of counsel. A nation void of counsel. Neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them, and Yahuwah had shut them up? Who was it that rescued you from the tempest? Who was it that rescued you, O Israel? Who was it that rescued you from all those that hated you? Yahuwah Elohim, your El. For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. For their vine is of the vine of Sedom, that's Sodom, and of the fields of Amorah, that's Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall. Their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of dragons and the cruel venom of asp. Is not this laid up in store with me and sealed up among my treasures? He has withheld his treasure for the day that the people come back to him. And then he's going to pour it out on them. He's telling us that. To me belongs vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. For Yahuwah shall judge his people, and repent himself from his servants. And when he sees that their power is gone, and there is none shut up or left, and he shall say, where are their gods? Where are those gods you've been worshiping? Where are they? Are they here to save you? No, they're not. They were nothing. They were wood, hay, and stubble. They are gods. Where are their gods? Their rock in whom they trusted, which did eat the fat of their sacrifices and drank the wine of their drink offerings. Let them rise up and help you and be your protection. Ever been protected by wood, hay, or stubble? I don't think so. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. He is an eternal God. He's an eternal El. He is the Elohim of Israel. He is the Most High. He lives forever. Who is going to destroy him? If I wet my glittering sword in my hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies and will reward them that hate me. He is willing to reward those who hate him, just to put judgment on his people. This is who we're dealing with. And we take it so lightly sometimes. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood of the slain and all the captives, from the beginning of revenges upon the enemy. Rejoice, all ye nations. Feel like rejoicing after that? Rejoice, all ye nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to his adversaries, and will be merciful unto his land and to his people. And Moshe came and spoke all the words of this song in the ears of the people, he and Husha the son of Nun. And Moshe said, or made an end of speaking of these words to all of Israel. And he said unto them, set your hearts unto all the words which I testify among you this day, which ye shall command your children to observe to do, all the words of this Torah. You shall command your children to observe to do all the words of this Torah. I'm going to read it one more time. And you shall command your children to observe to do all the words of this Torah. Have I done that? I mean, I grew up in a Christian denomination where I didn't even know the word Torah. I mean, I don't think the word Torah ever even came up. I mean, yeah, we heard about the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible. I don't know that it was ever called Torah. Not sure that, we ever had an understanding that those 5 books had pretty significant relevance. Did you hear what Moses told them? I testify among you this day, which ye shall command your children to observe to do, all the works of this Torah. For it is not a vain thing for you, because it is your life. Did you hear that? It is your life. If you do it, you have a good life. The Lord will take vengeance for you. He will pour out his blessing upon you. If you don't do it, well, you heard it yourself. And through this thing ye shall prolong your days in the land, whether ye go over Jordan to possess it. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe the selfsame day, saying, get you up into this mountain Avrim, unto Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, and is over against Jericho, and below the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel for a possession. And die in the mount whither you go up, and be gathered unto your people, as Aaron your brother died in Mount Hor, and was gathered unto his people. Because ye trespassed against me among the children of Israel at the waters of Meribah Kodesh, in the wilderness of Sin. Because you sanctified me not in the midst of the children of Israel. Yet you shall see the land before you, but you shall not go thither unto the land which I give the children of Israel. So Moses, as you know, didn't get a chance to go see, to participate in this land of milk and honey. He did get to see it. But because of his sin, because of his transgression against the Lord, he was not allowed to go in. What transgressions do we commit on a daily basis? What keeps us from seeing the Most High operate in our lives the way that he did for Israel, even in the wilderness? They thought they had it terrible in the wilderness. Yet they saw his provision daily. The shoes never wore out on their feet. They had great provision. They defeated many armies, vast armies, in the wilderness. What's it going to take for we, the ecclesia, the peculiar treasure of Yahuwah Elohim, our El? What's it going to take for us to see the grandness of the Lord taking back this world on behalf of his people? What's it going to take? It doesn't take many. He did it for 12 tribes, which initially was just 12 people. He did it for Israel. And he'll do it for us. We've got to get this settled. What's it going to take? What is it? What does it mean? The ways of the Lord. That's what I'm coming to challenge you with today. Sorry if this was a heavy one, but I'm not even going to promote myself today. I'm not going to tell you about my Facebook page or anything. This is all about the Lord. It's all about the blood. So, one more time I'll ask you, as I'm asking myself, Rick, what is it going to take for you to walk in the ways of the Lord and see great and mighty works of Yahuwah Elohim, your El, happen in your day? Because he'll do it. He just promised. Thank you for watching. Think about it. Let's talk about it. God bless you. This has been another episode of the Hidalgo Show. And we'll see you next time. God bless. It's all about the blood.